What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation, coming at you from the Oasis Hotel in Springfield, Missouri. I'm talking low because it seems like these walls are kind of thin around here, and I don't want anybody to hear me in any adjoining rooms. But one thing that the hotel does have is it does have some complimentary lotion, which I did use because I know you guys are used to seeing me with ashy hands, but now my hands are slippery, which is why I don't use it when I'm out driving. But I'd mentioned that I was going to talk about some things that kind of happened in my life that have nothing to do with trucking and anything like that. And I was flipping through the channels this morning, and football I came on. And I really don't watch football that much anymore. I came up watching football in the 70s, 80s, that era. So I'm used to a little bit tougher a brand of football than what's played now. So over the years, I've just become less and less interested in football to the point where I really haven't watched it at all in like the last 3-4 years. But when I was flipping through the channels, it reminded me of a time when I almost lost like $5,000 in betting on football back in like 1995, 96, somewhere in there. But back in that time frame, I was not always the most responsible person with my money. And I used to gamble quite a bit. And fortunately, if you took up all the winnings and all the losings I had, I probably pretty much broke even-ish, somewhere in that area. So I was at least fortunate for that. But I was gambling with the real people. I'm not talking about the mafia. It was more the Russians back then. But I can still remember my gambling code. When you called in, my gambling code was 9318. And anyway, you have the two early games on Sunday, then you have a late game. So you never figure you're going to lose all your money if you gamble on like 3 games. You may win all 3, you may lose 2, but you're usually not going to lose all 3. But that's kind of what happened on those early games. There was a game that should have covered. It was the Lions playing the New York Jets. Barry Sanders had got the football. He broke away for a 50-yard run. He gets tackled on the 3-yard line with like a minute left in the game. Detroit had to win by 4 for me to win the bet. They were up by 2. All they had to do was kick a field goal or score a touchdown, and I would have won that game, so I wouldn't have ended up losing as much. But I ended up losing that game. I go into the night games, and I'm already down $2,500. I'm like, actually, it was more than $2,500 because you got to add the 10% on top of that. So I would have actually, if I remember, I was going to lose more than $5,000. So then I had to bet I think I just stayed with the even 25 for that last game, which was, I think, New England Patriots against, I forget who it was, but this was back before the New England Patriots were good. This was back with Drew Bledsoe, when Bill Parcells just kind of took over the Patriots. And I think Bill Parcells was the coach. He may not have been the coach, but Drew Bledsoe was definitely with the Patriots. And the Patriots were underdogs in this game. So I think if the Patriots lost by 6 or less, I would have won, maybe 7. But anyway, the game is going on. The game's really not going that good for me. And something happened in that game. I call my best friend. I'm like sick to my stomach. I'm almost wanting to cry. And I'm like telling him, man, I just lost $5,000 on this game, and I just have this pit in my stomach. And he's like telling me, are you watching? He's like, well, what's the line? I said, this was the line, blah, blah. He's like, are you watching the game right now? I'm like, no. He's like, Drew Bledsoe just threw a touchdown, which basically helped me cover. There's really no reason for them to even go for a touchdown, because that touchdown, they only had like 35 seconds left in the game. The touchdown was not going to make them win, but it did end up covering my bet. So at least I broke even for that day. That was the last time that that was the last time I bet on anything other than an occasional lottery ticket every now and then. But definitely not the most responsible with my money back in those days. But one thing I can say is that weekend broke me of all my desires to keep up with that gambling situation. So just a little bit something different from my channel. I'm sitting here at the Oasis Hotel. Travis Kinley just messaged me and said that he's possibly thinking about going to Applebee's next door tonight. I guess the Oasis is going to be closed. Might be a good time to catch up on people, because I did see a few people when I was down there eating yesterday, but they were on their way out. So I really didn't have a chance to talk to them. It looks like all the big wigs are here for the driver advisory board meeting and all that kind of stuff, which I'm an outsider on that. Not that, that's too much responsibility for me to want to take part in anyway. But anyway, I appreciate you guys stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.